All right, welcome in. It is Wednesday. It is time for Total Bases. 17 games on the slate today. Of course, some rain in the Northeast last night. 2 games rained out. I had 7 units of plays rained out last night, thanks to the rain in the Massachusetts area. But I did get one play in. It was the Reds. They kept me up late, but they got it done. So 1-0 for me on Tuesday. Pretty happy about that. Brian, how was your Tuesday night?
Frustrating. I used a 4% for my $5 play yesterday. I had the under in the Angels game, the under in the Athletics game. Under 9.5, it's sitting at 4-2 with 2 outs, nobody on base, and it ends up going over because of the overtime rules, extra inning rules. I actually, we're all in the same. So you'll get in this situation, by the way, Adam. But it was 2 outs in the ninth. I had to go to the bathroom, which happens a lot as you get older. I'm in the bathroom. I come out. All of a sudden, it's tied. It's a tie game. They give up a triple, and they give up a home run with 2 outs in the ninth. And I go, well, at least I can get a chance at the bottom of the ninth. Maybe Arizona score a run, keep it at 9. It's still a winning play. No, it doesn't happen. And then they go into the monkey ball rules, as TB would say, in the extra innings, and it cost me the victory. And it's very frustrating because it was the right call. They scored 4 runs in the first inning, and then nothing really the rest of the game. And to walk away with the loser, especially on a game that a lot of people bought, it was very frustrating. We did win our play in the parlay on the Cleveland under, but yeah, it's frustrating. And even for a guy who's done it 45 years, it still bothers you a little bit. The whole key, by the way, in handicapping is to not get too high or too low. And for a minute there, I was a little upset. So but we'll get them back today. But it was very frustrating. It happens to all of us, especially for somebody who plays a lot of unders. And but just had to get that off my chest a little bit.
Brian, I'm in the same boat. I love my plus 1.5 underdogs. I've had multiple 5% plays with a plus 1.5 lose in extra innings this year. Multiple. So it's happened to me more than once. It's the same idea where you get, you feel like if you have a plus 1.5 and you get to extras, you clearly were on the right side, right? Because you clearly were like, you needed it to get to the end of the game with a 1-run game. You actually got there tied, and yet somehow that bet ends up losing. So I feel you. I was just complaining last week on the show. My 9th inning luck has just not been been great this year. So yeah, that's too bad because that was clearly the right call. And I actually, as you're talking about, I'm like, wait a minute. That game didn't end 4-2. I wasn't really paying attention to that game. I had to go back and look. So yeah, that's a tough one for sure. Tokyo Brandon, hopefully better luck for you last night. How did your night go?
I went 1-0 in Major League. I had the Cleveland Guardians first 5 under 2.5. I thought that was too high for them, despite their explosion the night before. And I won Mexican baseball, and I won my KBO play, and I lost 2 Japanese baseball. So I was slightly up on the day. Can't complain. Matter of fact, speaking of international baseball, WagerTalk is combining all of my international baseball for one price. If you buy my KBO for the rest of the season, you can get all my international. So that's a little promo to shout out at the beginning of the show. But it was frustrating in Japan because those lines are like 5 and 6. And there was one which was 9.5. I was like, oh, under all the way. And they score 12. So that was frustrating. So good luck and bad luck happened at the same rate, though. Yeah.
I noticed some people on the replay complaining that the first pick doesn't happen until 4 minutes into the show. That is by design. It takes a second for this to go live on all the different platforms.
Oh my God,
so I've put the recap just at the front. So now if you're watching the replay, you're like, I don't feel like listening to these guys talk about their night. No problem, because we timestamp the show. So that's the beauty. If you're watching on the replay, we've always got the timestamps in the description, and then you can just go right to the first timestamp. Today, that first timestamp is national TV. Brian, I'm coming back to you. Series we haven't talked about yet that we've sort of just hasn't come up yet this week. But they're going to get the national TV spot on ESPN tonight. That's Tigers Cubs. And if you had the Tigers last night, no bad beat there. You were just dead right off the rip. The Framber Valdez couple time a year blow up. That was last night for the Tigers. Couldn't even get out of the first inning. That game was over, and the Cubs ended up winning huge. Tigers did win the night before an extra inning. So now these two teams, I think this is the rubber match. I don't know. There's not that many games on Thursday, so it probably is. But anyway, Wrigley Field, Tigers, Cubs. How do you see this one?
Yeah, first off, the wind's blowing in, and so which is why we're seeing 8s and a couple 7.5s. But yeah, wind's blowing in, and that will help control some of these power bats for the Cubs a little bit in this one. Detroit really doesn't have too many guys to hit for a lot of home runs. A lot of that is because of the park they play in. But yeah, we got Montero, who's been a really nice surprise for, at least for me, with Detroit this year's going against Colin Ray. Ray right now is about a 115 favorite with a total of 8, slightly to the under. Yeah, you're right. That was over quick. And if you had bet that game, you probably had other games that you could watch, which was good. But Montero, as I mentioned, he's done everything possible for them. He's gone for the bullpen. He has started games, and he's done very well this year. And I kind of like him on the mound today. If you take a look at their starting rotation right now for the entire season, out of the 5 guys they've got going, Montero is the number 5, but he's still rated 79th on the season. And they've still got some guys down that are down on the injured list. They just put Flaherty on the injured list. Verlander's still there. Olsen was a guy I really like Olsen. If he could ever stay healthy, he's very good. And then Jackson Job's down there. So the Detroit pitching staff looks really good for the next few years, regardless if they keep Skubal or not. So to our home office in Detroit, you still got to go and have a pretty good team in the next few years. From a hitting standpoint, the Tigers have been doing pretty well. You've got some guys. You got 1, 2, 3, 4 guys that are hitting in the top 100. Leadoff hitter McGonigal's at 120. So now that they got Gleyber Torres back, that's going to be a big boost. So their lineup pretty much is. I still think they probably only have like 7 guys on this team, 6, 7 guys that you really have to worry about. But Dylan Dingler's really coming to his own this year. So I like the Detroit hitters. I like the pitchers here. And from a Cubs standpoint, I think the line's a little bit too high here. If I'm playing, I'm going to take the underdog. Colin Ray's 151 on the season. David Peterson pitched pretty well yesterday, 244 in the season. Tyon 155. So they're really struggling getting some good starting pitching. They've had some key injuries in their starting rotation as well. Good thing for the Cubs is the bullpen looks in pretty good shape. They won the bullpen game on Monday. A lot of guys used, but yesterday only Aaron Savali, who they recently just picked up, pitched long relief. He went 47 pitches. So the bullpen for the Cubs is pretty good. So I kind of like Detroit. I kind of like the under a little bit here. Maybe a Cubs team total under. Let me see what that currently is. Yeah, they set it at 3.5. So if it was a 4, I might have thought about it, but I won't go with their 3.5. So I'll go with if I'm playing, I'm taking the even money, maybe minus 102 or whatever here on Detroit. I think if they bounce back here, when you get blown out as early as they did in yesterday's game, the managers have the ability to just throw out the guys that don't think they're going to use the next day and rest some other guys. So I think if I'm playing it, I'm playing Detroit.
Yeah, I've got probably 4 or 5 targets for today that will probably, or at least get consideration for me. Obviously, pare that down, but the Tigers is one of them. I like the way Kyler Montero's throwing the ball. Tokyo Brandon, he came in relief, probably because they needed to get guys innings. Of course, you have the All-Star break, and some of these starters end up being like long relievers in that first weekend back just to try to get them some innings, so they don't have too long of a layoff. And the Tigers actually did that to perfection. The first game out of the break against the Angels, they pretty much just split the game. It was I forget who started that game. Melton Melton started, and they just said, all right, Kiter Montero, you finished the game. You've got it. They didn't even consider going to the bullpen. And that was in a 1-run game that they won 2-1. He was sharp. 3 1/3, 5 strikeouts, 1 hit, no walks. I think he's better than Rhea. Colin Rhea is someone that for me has started to fall off a little bit. Tokyo Brandon, I know we really liked him when he came back from Japan and had those couple really good years, but I'm kind of out on Rhea. I might be in on the Tigers here. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Colin Rhea. He wasn't really good here in Japan. He played for SoftBank for about 2 years. I'm not as high on Montero as you guys are. He's got some pretty bad numbers against these batters he's facing today, although the sample size is kind of small, so don't want to put too much credence into that. I do agree that Detroit's got the better pitching outlook here, and they do have the better bullpen in current form right now. They do not have the better lineup in current form. It looks like an over to me. I understand the win thing. I think it's a little overblown. You don't have to hit home runs to score. And on the average in MLB, there's less than 2 home runs per game. So I don't think hitting home runs is going to be a deciding factor here. I think looking to an over here. I think both teams are hitting quite well. I don't like either bullpen very much. So I would lean over. I haven't played it. Still thinking about it.
I'll get the pick out of the way first. Tigers is going to be my leg of the parlay. Like I said, it's one of a hand, maybe 4 or 5 games that I've sort of pared down on them considering today. You're getting plus money with what I consider to be the clear better starting pitcher, and they've got all their bullpen arms behind them. Montero just comes out, he throws strikes, he keeps his team in the game. He's just done this for a couple of years now, pretty much whenever he gets in at the big league level. Colin Rhea, again, was very good for a while. This year, bottom 10 in expected ERA, 5.46. Bottom 10% in expected batting average, 2.75. He gets very little swing and miss. And then, Brian, the metric that you like to pair with that to make sure that it's legit is exit velocity and hard hit, and he's giving up plenty of that. So I think the Tigers set up much better. And you brought up the point that I wanted to make. Gleyber Torres back in this lineup, huge for the Tigers, in my opinion. That's so big for them. If you go back to early June, they started to take off when Gleyber came back, and I think he's an underrated player. So yeah, Tigers on the money line for me. That's going to be my parlay. Like, what am I looking at for a line there? You said, is this still plus money?
You're actually, I see upwards of plus 105 out there, but I would say probably plus 102 right now. Something in that range is about an average.
Yeah, let's say plus. Plus 102 is fine. That's what I saw when I came on air. That's what I jotted down. So yeah, I think. Listen, and then the final point that we should hammer home here: you get thoroughly embarrassed the way they did last night, where the game is over in the first inning. AJ Hinch, just that walk out to take Framber out in the first inning, like you could tell he was just beyond annoyed. Like, I think the Tigers come out with an effort tonight for sure.
That was the worst free agent signing. Ridiculous now when you think about that, when they can't pay Skubal, but they gave that guy all that money. It's that was a bad move.
Brian, I'm coming back to you. Adam says he feels your pain. Hunter Goodman getting that home run in the 8th inning to beat the Nationals, and it actually cost us the parlay a 2 for 3 or 2 out of 3 yesterday for the parlay for us. And that was a tough one. I really did like the Nationals too. That just missed my card yesterday, and they fall 8-7. Also that D-backs A's game. So we'll stay on that Nats Rockies series. We've talked about it both days already. I think it's a very intriguing series. We did comment on the total, and that soared over. That got over pretty easily yesterday. I think we all kind of were, had the over. At least I did. I talked about it. I think Tokyo Brandon mentioned the over as well. TB, I was going to say, you end up just picking the wrong one because, of course, the Nationals team total got there easily. So let's go back to that one. Nats, Rockies, the rubber match, Coors Field. Brian, kick us off. How do you see this one?
Yeah, we don't talk about hitters very often, but Hunter Goodman has really come into his own the last couple of years. He's hit 4 home runs the last 2 days. He had 3 of them the night before. There's actually talk about there that they're shopping him. and he'll bring in a lot. He'll bring in a lot of prospects, no doubt about it. But he's clearly your best player. He's a catcher. It's a very important position. I've seen the rest of their catchers. I don't know if any of them are major league ready. We'll have to see what Colorado. If they get overwhelmed, they'll have to do it. But they're not going anywhere for a while. But still, it's unfortunate. But Cavalli's on the mound, and he's about a 135 favorite here against Hughes. And the total is 11.5. I was kind of impressed by Hughes. Last time out, he looked pretty good. Cavalli's been pitching very well lately, but it is in Colorado, and I was trying to find a way to get under that 13 or whatever that it was at the time, and I didn't do it. And luckily I didn't, because it was like 5 innings in or whatever, and they'd already got 12 runs. So, but Cavalli and Hughes going here. I think the line is right here. If you're looking for if you want to find a 12, there's a 12 minus 30 out there right now, but most of the lines are at 11.5 on the total. I'd hate to say slightly to the under, but as far as I know, I haven't looked at tomorrow's schedule. So as far as I know, it's a getaway game, and
Yes.
both teams are pretty satisfied with the way they've been hitting. But yeah, this is going to be a game on the pass on. Sorry.
Well, you say slight lean to the under. I could potentially get down with that, because I think you're getting a considerably better pitching matchup here.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday, that was Tokyo Brandon. It was almost too obvious that Lorenzen, Michaelis, like that was probably going to produce over the total. Whereas like Gabriel Hughes has been solid, like he's been pretty good. Cavalli's been solid at times. So. And the number didn't change drastically. It's obviously not as high as it was yesterday, but yeah, I could see that a little bit. Nats Rockies, though, are you going back to the well with the Nationals here?
Guys, you can get a double play, 2 of us 3 for 3 days, all access, including all of our 5% plays for a huge discount. So go to wagertalk.com and check that out. I have 2 MLB plays out today. I am absolutely sure my comrades here will have something out today as well. So grab a double play at wagertalk.com. So I'm probably higher on Cavalli than you guys are. Looking at his command and control, it's amazing. I mean, I think 30 to 40% walks to strikeouts is acceptable. He's 18. I mean, he's pitching really well. I've got him in the top 1/3 of all Major League Baseball pitchers. Now, that might be little bit optimistic, but I think he's a pretty good pitcher, actually. And Gabriel Hughes, yeah, he's given up 5 earned in his last 2 starts. It's acceptable. His command and control is also in an acceptable range as well. So I kind of agree with you guys that the pitching pretty good here. The problem is you've got Washington, who's been smashing. Even when they lose, they're scoring like 5 to 7 runs a game. And I don't know. That bullpen is just horrific, though. I mean, we saw it on display again yesterday. As soon as they come in, they're giving up runs. It's just, you can bank on that. I don't know how to approach this game, to be honest. I've got Colorado with a much better bullpen and the better starter, actually. But I think that's kind of fugazi, because I like Kate Cavalli as the starter. So a lot of conflicting data here and a lot of X factors. I can say that I would probably think about taking a Washington team total over again if it's 5.5, but 6.5 I would pass. That's kind of how I would go.
Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, I'm not buying into the Colorado bullpen. They just traded away one of their key arms in the bullpen, so they're a little bit short in that regard. But I will say, when you're pitching in Colorado, the last thing you want to do is walk anybody. And the projections are showing Cavalli at 1.3 walks in this game and Hughes at 1.4. So you're not going to get a lot of free guys on base between these two. So I still lean a little bit with the under. I think that's probably the better way to go.
Yeah, my projection is 11.1. Okay. So, I do think the books, though, like the odds makers are good, man. Like sometimes you just got to give them credit. Last night, they hang a 13, right? So like, it's a big number. It soars over that. It was never really in question. It was an easy over. And so then you're kind of thinking, oh, maybe they'll go off of like the big output last night and 2 pitchers that aren't really named guys. Maybe they'll give us a 12 or a 12.5. No, they kind of nailed it with 11.5 because, again, Cavalli, I would say Hughes probably has more upside than Cavalli, but like Cavalli's a better pitcher right now. Again, they're both respectable enough where, yeah, you're going to have to sweat some bullpen probably in this game, but that number's still probably a little bit too high. I just wish it was higher. If this was like a 12.5, I'd like the under a lot more. Nationals are a better team, but the books, again, they're kind of making you pay. Do you really want to lay $1.30 with them on the road here, knowing that you're going to have their bullpen at the end of the game? It's a tough one. I think there were better spots in this series, and we kind of nailed them. Brian on Monday had the Nationals. On Tuesday, yesterday, we kind of talked over. I know we went with Nats for the parlay, but the over got there. I think I might be out on this one today. Oh, we got a boots on the ground situation here for one of our viewers. Love that. We got to get this game in for him. He said he's going to the Jays game today. Any opinions? Tokyo Brandon, my first opinion is I hope the Jays maybe just show up to play the game for you because this team has been as lifeless as it gets. They've no-showed this series to this point. So, Jimmy Bob, I hope for your sake that at least they give an effort today because they have not given much of an effort the last 2 days. Raise Jays to you, TB. How do you see this one?
Yeah, I think yesterday was a bit of an outlier. Tampa Bay's not really that much of a power hitting team. They do have one really good batter in their lineup, but teams are going to explode like that sometimes. Then they come back down to earth. You get this and that. Not a big fan of Jack's 5-7 with the 4.08 ERA, and my expected numbers on him are, very mediocre. So I'm not a big fan of his, and I don't really know what to expect too much of Fisher. He's 3-3 with a 3.65 ERA. Not horrible. He's pretty mediocre as well. I think I might lean to an under in this one. Neither team's hitting real well. If you throw yesterday out, current form, both of these teams pretty low ranking as far as hitting is concerned. This Toronto is just, they've got Vlad hasn't hit a home run at home all season. That's horrific. That's terrible. They gave him all that money. Speaking of wasted money, Brian, jeez, what a waste of money that was. So I would think an under here. Both bullpens performing pretty well. If you throw yesterday out, like yesterday you can't base your whole cap on one game. I think things come back to earth and we'll probably see an under here, in my opinion.
Someone made such a good comment on Twitter. I forgot who it was, or I'd give them credit. They're like, it feels like Vlad aged like 10 years, like overnight. Like he just looks old. He looks slow. He doesn't hit, not hitting for power the way he even did like just 1 year ago. Mm-hmm. The Blue Jays were just in the World Series, right? Like this team, so these guys were in the World Series and like it felt like they were at their sort of peak. And now it's just, it obviously we knew we weren't going to get the exact same Jays team. Obviously Bo Bichette's not there, but for the most part, it's a very similar team to last year. And it just has not looked anything like last year's team. Tokyo Brandon, I'm with you. I kind of like the under here. Fisher is just going to be part of a bullpen game for the Blue Jays, but the bullpen should be very well rested. They haven't played I don't think they've been ahead, Brian, in a very long time. I don't think they've had a lead, like really, other than for like maybe more than an inning or two. Mm-hmm. Really haven't had a lead. Certainly haven't had a lead late in game in at least like 3 or 4 days, because on Sunday before this series started, I believe they got shut out. So it's been a while, and maybe you have to go back to Friday since they've had a lead in a game. So if you're the Blue Jays, you're going to have all your bullpen arms. TB, where I'll disagree with you a little bit, I think Griffin Jax is awesome. I think he's only going to continue to get better. Remember, the Rays are still in the process of getting their claws into him, right? He comes over from the Twins. He's a reliever. They try him as the closer. They don't love it. They say, okay, we're going to have you open games. Now we're going to stretch you out into being a starter. I think Griffin Jax only gets better. He's got great stuff. So I like the under, though. I'm with you. I do agree with your overall sentiment on the game. I like this one under. I don't trust either of these offenses to do much damage here. Brian, what do you see in this one?
Yeah, I agree with the under, although I will disagree about the Rays being a one-man team. Yandy Diaz is the 19th ranked hitter in baseball. Aranda's 33rd, and obviously Camanero's third. So, and Chandler Simpson's getting hot. He had like 4 hits. Was it yesterday, the day before?
He just has to tap the ball in plays.
Yeah, But he doesn't give you any power. That's the thing on this team is they don't have a lot of power on this team. Aranda will do it once in a while. Diaz once in a while, but Camanero's really turned into an elite bat. After talking about the hitters, I still like the under this game. Yeah, I agree. Griffin Jackson, if you take a look at his numbers when they had him as a closer, he was getting bombed. But ever since they put him in as a starter and stretched him out, he's a much better starter than what I expected. I liked him better as a reliever. I thought he would be an excellent closer. But once again, reason why I'm sitting here talking about it and I'm not in Major League Baseball. But yeah, the bullpen for Tampa Bay is in pretty good shape as well. And there was a comment you said the other day in the YouTube chat. Somebody talked about Toronto, and you said they're good for one good run.
Yeah.
And that was the game. They scored 1 run, and then they get the way they played yesterday. Yeah, the offense right now is Toronto has been horrendous. Guerrero is lucky to be a top 100 hitter in baseball this year. In fact, on this team, Ernie Clement and Okamoto are better hitters than he is this year. He's been a very big disappointment, and they've invested so much money in him. You can't really tell. They can't really sit him. I was really excited when they brought up Sean Keys. I thought he may get some play at first base, and they've used him very rarely. And so, yeah, right now it's going to take something for me to want to play Toronto. Although I do have to say, you would expect a good bounce back here. Teams playing at home, trying to avoid the sweep, are usually a pretty good bet. Toronto scored, I believe, 9 runs yesterday, and after scoring 9 runs, a lot of their games follow that up with a much lesser offensive situation. But yeah, I like the under here, and we're looking at. Let me just get a quick look at it. The under in this one is sitting there at 8.5. I'm seeing 8.5, but mostly 8s. And you can get 8 minus 110, whatever, to the under. So I know we have not done well when all 3 of us agree on something. I'm going to try to break that trend today. I'm going to play the under in this game as my part of the parlay. Under 8 minus 110.
Could you imagine this season ending with Vladdy having 0 home runs at home? Crazy.
Yeah, like
sorry, Adam.
Again, though, that's exactly what I think the person I can't remember who tweeted that, but I have to imagine that's what they were alluding to. It's just the lack of power. He's just, I mean, yeah, like Brian's saying, he's hanging around because he's still hitting for average a little bit. But that's not what Vlad Guerrero is not there to hit for average. Like he's there to drive runs in, hit the ball over the fence. And someone said, Bo Bichette is the reason that the Blue Jays are struggling. Like I think anyone would have looked at this roster and been like, oh, they've got enough to absorb Bichette. Yeah. So it's like it's much bigger than that.
Yeah, they've had a lot of injuries. I mean, they've had guys missing a lot of time, but it's very similar to the Seattle catcher situation. Yeah, he's only hitting about 160. But he's not there to hit 160. He's there to hit home runs. And that hasn't happened as one of the reasons why Seattle's been a disappointment this year.
And Brian, Freebird, I'll just pull this comment up. Jay's bullpen game, it is, and I think that helps the under here because you're going to get Braden Fisher. You probably see a little Spencer Miles. Like you're going to get, and then if I know anything about the Blue Jays manager, when they're in a spot like this, he will unload. He's going to manage this game like it's Game 7 of the World Series. We've seen him do this before. The Jays need a win badly, and I believe they have tomorrow off. He is going to manage this game like the season is on the line today. Yeah. I don't know if it gets them the win, but it's probably going to keep the Rays to like a couple of runs, and it probably keeps us low scoring. So, Brian, I agree with your call here.
Yeah, Varland, Rogers, and Hoffman are the 3 best arms in that bullpen. And Fisher's number 4. And the three that I talked about haven't pitched in 3 days. So they will all of them will probably likely get in. So basically you're getting a Toronto team with your 4 best relief pitchers. And
as long as they don't use Little, they should be okay. What another wasted contract. Holy crap.
He doesn't make the kind of money some of the others do.
Yeah, he doesn't make much money. And again, I misspoke. This is one of the 5 games that will. I believe this is one of the only 4-game series. I don't think it matters. I think the Jays are so desperate right now that they're going to unload the clip when it comes to high leverage bullpen arms. They will throw 7 different pitchers in this game if it means they can get a win, and I think that keeps it under. I like that call. Honestly, that would have. If I didn't already lock my parlay in, I probably would have considered that. So that's a good call right there.
It's a good one.
All right, back to the chat. I'm going to go to this one. I feel like the chat is waiting for me to comment on this, and this series hasn't come up. Yeah, the Marlins are. We were victory lapping that Marlins call a little bit, like going into the break. Although, if you remember, I said, are the Marlins this year's Tigers? That was a comment I made where they had that bad series, Brian, against the Guardians before the break, and it feels like they've carried it into the second half with them. 8 straight losses. We were sitting there with that plus 980 being like, oh, this team's going to the playoffs. And the Marlins just have not been able to get it going. But I have to say, like, some of that's the quality of competition that they're playing. They've hit a tough part of their schedule. They faced a desperate Guardians team prior to the break who was able to sort of squeak out a few close wins. And they've come out of the break playing the Brewers and the Astros, 2 teams that are playing ball at a high level right now. So, yeah, the Marlins are struggling, but they've also just been a little bit worse than some good teams that they're playing. Question is, when does it end? Is it today? Marlins, Astros to you, Brian.
I think Miami's still a bet on team the rest of the year. I don't know what's going on with Braxton Garrett. Did he have sex with the owner's wife or something? Why isn't he in the major leagues again? Yeah, last time he was up, he didn't pitch bad, but you got to give the guy's blown away the minor leagues. And right now they're without Max Meyer, who is hurt for right now. So really, they only have 2 legitimate major league pitchers, and that's Alcantara and Perez. So yeah, I'm not giving up on Miami yet. And their bullpen has not. You take a look at their bullpen. The top 4 guys have not pitched the last 2 days, although I'm including Pete Fairbanks as the closer. He has been horrendous. Talking about bad offseason signings, Michael Peters is clearly their better reliever, and he should be closing. But I still think the Miami is a very good team here. We're looking at Alcantara against Lambert, who's pitched very well for Houston, by the way. Lambert's about a 115 favorite, 120 favorite, and you're getting a total of 8. If I'm playing this one, I'm playing the underdog. I think Miami. I'll take Alcantara over Lambert. He'll give you some length, and I do think I like the bullpen better than Houston. Houston's bullpen, obviously, at this point, is basically just their closer. They've got some guys that have been decent in the past, but this year they haven't been that. Abreu is normally a guy that just lights out. He is not having a good season. And they've had to use some guys lately because they've been winning. Hader's pitched 3 of the last 4 days, including the last 2. He will not be pitching tonight. Orkurt's pitched 3 of the last 5. And so, yeah, I like the bullpen better here, although I do like AJ Blueball for them. He pitched 25 pitches yesterday, so who knows if he's going to pitch. Pitched 40, 3 days before that. So they've got a lesser bullpen in this game. And as much as I think the starter has done pretty well for them, Lambert's been very good all season long, I still like Miami in this game. The team for Houston, they've got, talking about guys that are pretty good hitters, they've got Yordan Alvarez and then everybody else. Walker's having a nice season. Paredes is doing okay. Pena's good when he's healthy, but 1 minute he's going on the DL, the next minute he's playing the next day. So he's a guy that's going day to day, and he continues to be banged up. So I like Miami in this game, getting them in the underdog role. If I'm playing it, I'm taking the dog.
Brian, I'm very much with you. I will So let me comment on the Braxton Garrett situation real quick. I would not be surprised if the Marlins, after the last couple days, said, you know what, we're going to ditch this bullpen game thing that we've been like, listen, you got to, the bullpen sort of game where they've piggybacked these 3-inning guys, they did have a lot of success with it in the month of June and then leading into the All-Star break. So I can't really knock them for doing that, but you're 100% right. Braxton Garrett is a former first rounder. Okay. The leash that some of these other first round guys get, it's like they're allowed to they get 17 chances in the big leagues. And someone is always like, oh, they'll figure it out. This guy was the 7th overall pick in his draft. In the minors this year, he has a 0.82 whip, 77 strikeouts in 71 innings, and a 1.52 ERA. He's scheduled to pitch Thursday. I would not be at all surprised if you see the Marlins say, like, hey, we're going to scratch him from that Thursday start, and we're going to have him come in and start a weekend game this weekend. It's almost insane at this point for them not to do that. So here, like, I am going to love the Marlins this upcoming weekend when they're back at home against the Padres. That's probably when I'm going to want to buy in with them. But Tokyo Brandon, I will be honest, I am considering doing it today. They're a buy team for me. I think you're getting to buy them low now. They've lost 8 games against quality teams that are likely playoff teams, or at least playing good enough to make the playoffs right now. My only pause here is, like, they're still on the road. You wonder if they're looking forward to the off day tomorrow. They know they're going to travel. Talk to me about Peter Lambert, though. You've kind of liked him at times. He's throwing the ball good. Or do you have Sandy? How do you see Astros Marlins?
Yeah, I'm going to make this my parlay leg, and I'm going to take the Marlins here, and I'll tell you why. It's really hard to sweep a team, and honestly, I think the Marlins are a better put-together team than the Astros. They've run into a little bit of a quagmire here. They're kind of stuck in the mud. I think they'll get out of it. Lambert has been pitching well, but I think he's been a little lucky, to be honest. Alcantara is a much better pitcher. Alcantara has the same number of walks. He's got 37 walks. Lambert has 36, but Alcantara has pitched a ton more innings than Lambert. So I think Lambert's been a little lucky. Much better strikeout pitcher, Alcantara. I think the Marlins will take this one. So that'll be my parlay leg. I just don't think the Miami Marlins are going to perform like they have been the last 8 games. They're going to break out, and I think it'll be today. I don't like Lambert today. Now watch him pitch a complete game shutout.
Yeah, Lambert's good. Like I definitely see some redeeming qualities with him, but like I think the Marlins are still going to figure it out. Like let's put it this way. This is not the spot where I'd be dying to bet against them. I think if you wanted to fade the Marlins, you already had your chance. Will I be on them here? I'm not sure. Will I be looking to bet them this weekend after they get a day off and they get to go back home? 100%. Grant's dad, we'll be rooting for your team tonight. He says each of you keeps me in the green week after week, paid or free. Thanks to each of you. We appreciate you. And Grant's dad with the phenomenal, one of the best logos, one of the best color templates in the history of organized sports. Those Marlins jerseys from the 90s. Go ahead, TV.
Let me say one thing before we get into the next game. You guys, we have an intercompany posting board where we talk, and WagerTalk management praised us 3 heavily because our audience was giving so many donations, and they're giving it to charity. They're giving it to veterans who are called off to duty, and injured veterans families housing charity for that. And they praised us and our audience because you guys are giving us so many donations. So we appreciate that. You're making us look good on the intercompany post board. So thank you for that.
Yes.
We got a company Slack, and I believe it was like $850. And
I got it right here. $871.19, and the Fisher House Foundation is the charity this time around that they decided to work with. So yeah, that's shout out to all you guys.
Oh yeah,
we have the best audience.
You guys are awesome.
Yeah,
for sure. All right, 1,000.
By the way, they're plus 103.
Plus 103. That's
that'll be my leg.
I like it a lot. Again,
I like this parlay. I think we sweep today.
I know we're so
Really
due
good.
to hit one of these. I too. I like this is one day. I like all three of these legs,
Yeah,
and
I do
I
too.
said I had those 5 targets that were potential client plays for me. Marlins and Tigers are 2 of those targets. So those will be games that I'll probably dig into a little bit more and see if I can get my way to the window with them. All right, 1,000 Swords. Okay, so I'm going to pick one of his 2 games.
2 games.
I will pick the
Good to hear.
doubleheader. I'm going to pick the doubleheader because I said I would talk about the Orioles on today's show in yesterday when I posted my analysis for the rainout. So Brian, I'll come to you here and any you can pick game 1 or game 2. Red Sox Orioles are going to play a doubleheader today. Now I was on after the pitching change yesterday, I added the Orioles to my client card. I thought having Bradish against I thought Eduardo Rivera was a pretty big downgrade from Suarez after they made the pitching change. Of course, it didn't matter. The rain washed that game out. We never got to see that game, and we might not get to see that matchup today. So that's the thing here for me. That was sort of where I was like, okay, now I can jump in with the Orioles. The deck has been shuffled, and it looks like game 1 is going to be Dean Kramer, and he's going to go up against Jake Bennett. What I would want to know is game 2. They have Ranger Suarez, I'm sorry, they still have it TBD. So for me, this is pretty simple. I like Jake Bennett. I'm not going to get involved probably with that first game. I will watch the first game. I will have it on. Game 2 is where I'll probably attack if the Red Sox decide that they are in fact going to go with Rivera and continue to push Ranger Suarez off, because that was the conversation yesterday. They wanted to push him off, give him more time. Was more time 24 hours or was more time into the weekend? So I will be looking at Orioles game 2 if and only if game 1 plays out in the way that I need it to, which is likely the Red Sox burning up some of that bullpen because all of a sudden the day off has given them some of their bullpen arms back. So Red Sox Orioles to you, game 1, game 2, any comments that you have on this series?
Yeah. I tend to, when there's doubleheaders, I think if you're getting the underdog at decent prices, I think you could play the underdog in both games, and chances are you don't see too many sweeps in doubleheaders. We got 2 of them today. The Yankees game is Yankees are a doubleheader too. So 2 games got rained out yesterday. They'll be played today. And as far as I can tell from a weather standpoint, I don't think it's going to be a problem. I think all games will be getting in today. From what I have read, I believe it is Rivera. I think they're going to push him back till to tomorrow, and that makes a lot of sense to me. So if I'm playing either one of them, I'm looking at the underdogs. Dean Kramer's a very good pitcher. I really like Bennett, but you're getting Boston in a price range now. I kind of talked about this the other day. They were very good as an underdog, and now they're 14 straight that they've won, and now they're a situation where they're getting overpriced a little bit. I'm seeing upwards of 150 with Kramer and Bennett. I think that should probably be in the 140 range. And with Bradish and Rivera, Bradish is obviously the better, more accomplished pitcher, but he just did that signing, and but that one's in the 140 range. So I'm not going to have anything specifically on these games, but if you were to throw a little bit of change on the underdogs, I think in the Pittsburgh and Baltimore, you're going to make a little bit of money today. But there's so many other games that I like better than that. So it's just an opinion.
TB, we need your opinion. Anything for you in anywhere in this doubleheader, Orioles, Red Sox?
Yeah, I think I'll just flat out say I think Red Sox win game 1 and Orioles win game 2. The reason I like the Red Sox in game 1, though, I'll break that one down for you because there are less X factors there. Mm-hmm. I'm not a big Kramer fan. He's pitching okay, but I love what I see in Bennett. He's looking awesome, and he's not walking anyone. And that's a good recipe to keep your starter role in this league for a long time. Boston's bullpen on fire. They are just nailing games down. And I got their lineup ranked 5 out of 30 in current form, where I got the Orioles ranked 21. So it's Red Sox or nothing for me in game one. And if minus 150 is too much for you, just take a -1. As long as they win the game, you're not going to lose your money. So you can get a -1 for like -125. I think that's a decent number to take the Red Sox here in the first game. And I would make that my parlay leg, but I already used Miami. So that's how I feel about game one. Yeah.
Vinny, I'll tell you what. He says, you guys are awesome. I'm in. Brian, I have a feeling you're sitting on a 4% bounce back. Let's hear it. I don't know if Brian's just going to give his 4% around on the show, but I'll tell you what, if I get the right set of circumstances in game one, and then it is Rivera in game two against Kyle Bradish, Orioles game two will almost definitely be a 4%er for me. So I'll just disclose that if you want my rationale. It was a 4%er for me yesterday. It got rained out. What I need there is Bradish against Rivera and game one to play out in a way that makes it at least a little bit appealing to take the Orioles in game two. So I'll disclose that. If I play that as a client play, I'll tweet it out, or I'll let you know in some way. Make sure you have an eye on the WagerTalk free plays. That's something I would post in the WagerTalk free play section. So if you go to the WagerTalk website, click on the tab that says free plays, you can see anything that any of us have tagged as a free play on our site. It appears on our individual page, and you can see them all under the free plays tab. Should be checking that out all the time. Cappers give out paid plays in there all the time. I try to give one out at least once a week. That's a paid play in that section. I know a lot of the other guys do as well. Wow, we have 3 donations, and thankfully they're all in the same game. Gotta love that. So we have no choice. We are talking Mets Brewers. Shout out to Freebird, and I'll get you guys in here as well. He says, Brewers today, great show, and thanks, gentlemen. Prop King wants Mets Brewers, and then Alex Rand says Brewers on the bounce back today. So Bryan Leonard, to you, Brewers Mets. How do you see this one?
All right. Well, let me get to that on my chart here. And I mentioned yesterday that we're doing these all off the top of our heads because we're going off of what you say. So it just takes me a couple minutes to get everything together. The Mets, I've got Scott against Henderson here. Basically, we're looking at Milwaukee in about a 140 range, 7.5 to the under. It's an early game. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Basically, about half the games today are day, half are at night. This is an early game. Henderson has been great for them, but if you read about what's been going on with them, they had pulled him from the game a little bit. So I'm not he may be on a pitch count here. And if you're laying money on a favorite and your starter is going to be on a pitch count, that's something you need to know. He may only go 3-4 innings here. Who knows? He's going up against Scott, who has been very good. I like Scott. His numbers have not been as good as the way I think he's going to be in the future. I think the Mets have a pretty good starter for him in the future. He's one of the guys that I really like for this Mets team. When the Mets, I talked about this a few times when the Mets were on their big losing streak, that if they're an underdog against a National League team, they're like 4-22 or something. So they haven't done well in that regard, but they've hit a lot better lately. And the Mets are starting to come around hitting wise. Still have some concerns about the pitching, but from a hitting standpoint, I think they're in pretty good shape here. And Milwaukee's, to me, is the best organization, the best run team, and the most talented team overall in Major League Baseball. Now, the Dodgers obviously are the best team in baseball, and there's some other teams that are really good competing with them. But if you're a fan of the Milwaukee Brewers, and I'm always a fan of small town teams that are able, the Clevelands, the Tampa Bays, the Milwaukee's, those kind of teams. I love those kind of teams. And I think the A's are going to be that kind of team in Vegas if they get some decent management over there. But these are the teams I root for. So I like Milwaukee in this game, but I don't think I'm going to get there because of the price. I think it's a good spot for them to come back in this game. If they get 5 innings out of Henderson, I say they win. I don't know if they're going to get a full 5 innings out of them. So that's my opinion on the game.
Couldn't have said it better. I like the Brewers as well. Can't get there at -140. Would have loved this 20 cents cheaper, but the Brewers are one of those teams, Tokyo Brandon, that the books have been very keen to this team being very, very good this year. It's been really hard to find good prices to bet the Brewers unless they're in a series with like the Cubs or like the Dodgers or, teams like that. When you get the Brewers against the lesser part of the league, they're always, you almost always have to pay a tax. And it's crazy as that, 2 months ago, you would have probably got this game at minus 115. But I think it's known now that the Mets are in that lesser part of the league. So I'm with Brian there. But anything for you, Brewers, Mets, and do you think that price is too high?
Not at all. If you think they're going to win, I think it's a great price. But I'm going to go to a team total here. I think the Mets are going to get stifled in this game, just like the Brewers got stifled yesterday. Henderson's great. I loved Henderson last season until the Brewers benched him for no particular reason. So bet Henderson while you can before they bench him. You can really tell teams, like the teams that have their eyes set on winning the World Series and the teams that are just happy to be here. Unfortunately, the Brewers run their team kind of like they're happy to be here. We'll see. I mean, maybe they won't sit him this time. Maybe they'll actually try to win some games.
Hold on one second. He's not getting benched. He just makes his starts at AAA.
Yeah. Okay.
But he was 23 years old. Like they're just developing
him because he's one of their future guys.
Yeah. I just don't like when teams do that. I mean, it just shows me that they're not trying to win. So, well, the players are trying to win. I don't know about management.
They're trying to win. This is Milwaukee. This is
you have to understand that's the thing. That's part of the issue with Milwaukee. Well, they have so many options that it's like
maybe trying to win next season, not this season. Maybe.
Yeah,
sure. No. Last season they won.
I don't buy
last season. Okay.
I got to be honest. This doesn't make any sense. Like they just have so many options that Logan Henderson at 23 years old just simply wasn't a better option than Mizorowski or Quinn Priester was having the season of his life. You're going to send him down, right? Like, I mean, they just, who do you take? That's the tough part. When you get these good teams that have so many prospects, sometimes there's no room and they want him starting, not coming out of the bullpen. So he starts in Nashville. It is what it is.
You don't send anyone down. You keep them and you send someone else down. You put him in middle relief, or you telling me there's nobody in the bullpen that's worse than him? Come on.
I'm saying a 23-year-old that they want him starting games.
Yeah.
So they're going to get him starts every fifth day. It's why don't you talk about Hawk jumped in here. He wants to know first five total. Do you have any thoughts on that?
That's why they don't win the World Series, and they probably won't this year either. So they're just run poorly, in my opinion. So I would take the Mets team total under in this. That's how I would play that one.
Let me ask you this, TB. They've got Kyle Harrison, Quinn Priester, and Brandon Woodruff all hurt right now. Do you play him in front of any of those guys when they're healthy?
No, I would play him. I would switch to a 5-man rotation or even a 6-man rotation, or I would use him in long relief.
You don't want to use him in long relief as a starter. You don't want to take him away from that. I don't believe.
Yeah, but
he's too young. He's too young to just be a long reliever. He's 23 years old. Like they probably look at this and say he's going to be on our team for years and years. We want him going out and starting, throwing 6 innings. So they'd rather just have him at AAA. I get what you're saying. Here's what I think you're trying to say is Logan Henderson is good enough to be in the rotation for the majority of teams in Major League Baseball. It's just the Brewers have an embarrassment of riches when it comes to pitching. And then they're so good at developing these guys that it's like they have a Shane Drohan who's like, they look at him and they're like, wow, look at what he's doing. So now they got to make a spot for him. It's like, what happens when Lance McCullers 2 months from now, they've got their teeth into him. They just traded. Look, the Brewers just traded for Colton Gordon and Lance McCullers. Like they might have another pitcher there. It's crazy how much pitching talent is in this organization that it's just like it's hard to find spots for all of them. But yeah, it's bad. It's a good problem to have for
Yeah.
sure.
If
Show
you
me a
like
ring.
Henderson, is frustrating because I agree with TB. I want this guy to be out there every day, but
Where's
yeah,
the ring? Where's the ring? Okay.
Yeah, they've been in the
Well,
mix though.
they played
They've
a
been in
small
the
market
mix.
team and they don't
Show me a
pay a
ring.
lot of players there.
If
you
they
want
got
the
so
ring,
much
just play it at the
embarrassment-
Dodgers because they're going to outbuy
Yeah,
everybody.
but like
If
the
they have
Brewers-
if they have so much embarrassment of riches, where's the ring?
Yeah.
listen, that
That's
team
what they're playing for. Isn't
winning
it
as
not?
many. Yeah, but listen, the ring is going to be winning in the playoffs, and they're doing it with
Just
like
show me.
a fraction of the payroll that the Dodgers have. They're still going to have to get over the hump
Embarrassment
and beat a
of
team
riches
like
means you should have a ring, right? I don't know. Maybe
I
I'm
don't know.
silly.
Some. I mean, listen, like
Only one team wins the championship. And
Yeah,
you're
only
competing
one
with
team
the
wins
Dodgers
it.
with their payroll.
Like-
Come on now.
Okay.
Not everybody's going to get that ring.
Let's get to the World
Kylie,
Series.
yes, this is a Syracuse Mets hat. This was like the USA Memorial Day one from a couple years ago. It's a camo Syracuse Mets hat. So yes, it is. I don't know. I'm in a hat mood lately. I kind of need a haircut. That's why I just keep showing up with the hats. Yeah. Anyway, let's get to the parlay. First of all, double play package up on our page. I don't have anything up yet. I don't know if the other guys do. I'm sure they do. At any rate, I will be playing today though, 100%. I'm just trying to narrow it down, find something I really, really love. But you can get what we love and what we play every day on the WagerTalk site. We've got great specials, 3 days for $6, double play. Everything's up on our pages. So check that out. Brian, I'm with you. This is one of my favorite parlays that we've put together in a while. I hope it's the one that gets us back in the plus. Tokyo Brandon is going with Marlins plus 103. I'm going with Tigers plus 102. And then you're going to go with Rays Jays under 8. So that's a 3-teamer of full games, sides, and totals. Tigers full game plus 102. Marlins full game plus 103. Rays Jays under 8. Minus 105?
I think it was minus 105, yeah. Minus 110. Let's go minus 110 just to be sure.
Minus 110 just to be sure. As always, shop around. Go ahead, TB.
Yeah.
It's going to be huge odds.
It'll be pretty
gotta win
standard
it.
3-teamer.
Hey, if we don't win it, if we don't get the crown. We don't get the ring. But actually, we always recommend that you play these straight. We're not parlay guys. We want you to play it straight.
Play them however it makes sense for you to play them.
Whatever works for you.
Whatever works for you. Yep. As always, and that's how we operate on the show. We're trying to come here for an hour, chop it up, give you guys some picks, give you guys good information.
Oh, wow.
You know where to get our picks. If you want exactly what we bet on a daily basis, that's on the WagerTalk site. And if you have the other thing I will mention, because the three of us are in there every day. If we did not talk about something that you want to hear about, jump in the comments of the WagerTalk YouTube channel replay. One of us typically gets in there and will answer your question. So I try to be in there every day. And the comments and the subscriptions to the show do help massively. So while you're over there, if you haven't subscribed to the WagerTalk YouTube channel, subscribe for us. We very much appreciate it. And the three of us, it's a short slate tomorrow. We'll be back. We're breaking down the whole slate tomorrow. There's 5 games, and we're going to hit all of them on tomorrow's show. So make sure you're back here 9 a.m. Eastern on the WagerTalk YouTube channel. We'll see you guys then.